Today we're starting 4.5, the first and second derivative test. What do you think we're going to be dealing with? And first derivatives. We already know what a first derivative is. You can write this down if needed. The first derivative test. You already know how to take the first derivative. All right, we already know if f is differentiable on an open interval about where the number c, possibly at c, where f is continuous. If f changes from positive to negative at c, then it has a relative max. So it goes from a positive to a negative. This has to be a max. If it changes from a negative to a positive, that is a min. Just like we did last section. We're going to work on the charts. That's why when you said you struggled on them, I just sort of said okay. This section is going to build off those charts again. I have let f of x equals x cubed minus 3x. We want to find the relative extreme values, aka the zeros, and then sketch or find the sketch of the graph of f. All right. First thing we have to try to do is factor. What can I do here? Oh, yeah, sorry. First thing we have to do is derivatives. I thought I already had it up there. F of x, or f prime of x, 3x squared minus 3. Yeah, when I factor this, well, what do you mean? Take out a 3. If I take out a 3, I'm left with x squared minus 1. 3 times 1 is negative 3. If I didn't put that negative 1, it'd just be 3x squared. The 3 doesn't do anything to this problem. What's that? It's just a 3. It's just a constant. It's not an x. If it was an x, it does mean something. If it's just a number, it plays no part. There's two ways to do this. I can remember the shortcut if I have x squared minus 1, what it means factored. Almost. X plus 1, x minus 1. Not x squared plus 1. So it's 3 times x plus 1, x minus 1. You could have also went the other way and said x squared minus 1 equals 0. Add the 1 over. X squared is 1. Take the square root. X is plus or minus 1. So we have from that, my zeros are at negative 1 and positive 1. I had x plus 1, x minus 1, and then the original, or the whole entire thing. There, it makes it easier to see at least. This means at x plus 1, negative 1's a 0. At x minus 1, positive 1's a 0. Because negative 1 plus 1 gets me 0. Right. Now the bottom one, this has to be a 0, this has to be a 0. Just because 0 times anything gets me 0. What this means here, I only care about above and below. Below this, give me a number less than negative 1. Negative 2. What's negative 2 plus 1? Negative 1, which is negative. So it's negative here. Yep, it goes below it. Yep, because it's to the left, it's below it. Think of it as a number line. All right. Give me a number greater than -1. 0. What's 0 plus 1? Which is positive. Everything above that would be positive. Now for the x minus 1. Give me a number less than 1. 0. What's 0 minus 1? -1, so it's negative. Everything less than this 0 is a negative, which means everything above it's going to be positive, because 2 minus 1 is 1. We okay up to now? What's a negative times a negative? Positive. That's 0. Positive times a negative. Negative. Positive times a positive. Positive. What this means, I don't care anything above this now. Positive means the graph goes up. Negative means the graph goes down. Positive means the graph goes up. This is a relative max. This is a relative min. If I was thinking about the sketch of the graph has to go up and down and up, something like this. No, this is good enough right now. We will get into the point of where we can actually graph these. I want you to find the relative extreme values and sketch the graph for this one. This one here is a chain rule and product rule. You did yours a crazy way. All right. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the derivative of each piece. I have the red and the blue. All right, chain rule of this one. If I still need to do the A and the B part, you can go ahead. I think of what's the whole derivative? Yeah, what's the whole derivative for this? What's the derivative of x minus 1? 1. So I just have a 1 out front. It means nothing right now. Now I take, okay, that's just x right there. What's the derivative here? If that's x squared, this is 2x. So it's 2 times 1, which is just 2. And then that is x minus 1. That's the derivative of this one. All right? The derivative of the inside is 1. 1 times whatever, it stays the same. The derivative of the whole thing, well, it becomes, if that's x squared, 2 times, this one's 2 times that. That's just taking the individual derivatives. Now the product rule. F prime of x is going to be derivative of the first one times the normal second one. Plus the derivative of the second one sorry. Well, I write it so the derivative is out front. Doesn't matter how you write it. And then the normal first one. Because I had a coefficient out front, that's why I put the derivative first. That's just only the reason why. Now I'm here. I need to try to factor. Well, the first thing I always need to do is what? See what I have alike. Well, there's a thing here, and there's a thing over here. What do both of these have? They have a 2. They also both have an x minus 1, and they both have and x minus 3. And if I pull out a 2, x minus 1, x minus 3, I am just left with an x minus 3 on the first one. And if I pull out a 2, x minus 1, x minus 3 on the second one, I'm left with an x minus 1. You okay? Can't do anything right here. What's x and x? We're adding here, so x plus x is 2x. Negative 3 and negative 1 is negative 4. I'd have it factored. I have a 0 at 1, 3, and this one, if I add 4 over, divide by 2, my 0 is at 2. I have 3 zeros. It's okay if I go down to here. All right, my first one is x minus 1. My second one is x minus 3. My third one is 2x minus 4. The last one is f prime of x. I don't feel like rewriting it right now. My numbers. The smallest one's 1, the next one's 2, the next one's 3. I'll give you a second to get caught up. At negative 1, my 0 is at 1. At negative 3, my 0 is at 3. And 2x minus 4, my 0 is at 2. That means I have a 0 here, a 0 here, and a 0 here. The 0 should be on those vertical lines. If I pick a number less than negative 1, or sorry, less than 1, what do I get? Negative. So it's negative everywhere to the left, positive everywhere to the right. On x minus 3, everything less than negative or less than 3 is going to give me a negative. Greater than gets me positive. Anything less than this negative or less than 2 gets me a negative. Anything greater gets me positive. Now I just multiply straight down. Negative times a negative times a negative is negative. Positive times a negative times a negative. Positive. Positive, negative, positives, a negative, positive, positive, positives, positive. This means my graph goes down. This means goes up. That means down. That means up. What is 1? A relative min. What's 2? A relative max. And 3? A relative min. Do you understand the difference now? When we get into the second derivative test, that will tell us something else. We'll get into that next week.